Hey soldiers, today we're going to be taking the Katiba rifle to the range in Arma 3 to test out the capabilities of the 6.5mm caliber. Hey guys, I got a little treat for you today. What I'm doing here is, first I want to go ahead and give credit to the person who made this mod. Very nice gentleman. It's called the Kill House and medium to long distance range, and it's really well built. You know, it's got some funny aspects to it, which we'll see when we get to the long range aspects of this range. But the guy put time into it. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description if you want to use this mod. It's great for testing out particular weapons, which is what we're going to be doing here. The weapon that I've seen most in the Arma 3 Wasteland, or at least the server that I play on, is this Katiba 6.5mm. Now, a lot of people aren't familiar with the 6.5 caliber, which is understandable. It's a newer round, and it's meant to be a hybrid between the 7.62 and the 5.56. So our 7.62 is what we see in our battle rifles, rifles with more reach. 5.56 is what we see with a lot of our assault rifles, like your M16 or M4. Now, the 6.5 is saying that its effective range, at least this is what it's claiming, is between 200 to 800 meters. Now, Arma 3 is a game, so it can translate the 6.5 round in whatever capacity it wants to, but we're going to put it to the test so that when we're using this thing in multiplayer, we know what our effective capability is. Now, right now I'm using iron sights. We're going to take it through the close quarters range here and just kind of see how it performs in close quarters, especially in fully automatic. And the 6.5 round is definitely something I've gotten recently interested in. We're just going to run through here and kind of see how that feels. It's got a really quick cycle. Yeah, for sure. This thing would definitely be a monster in close quarters. You know, with it being a bullpup, I had no doubt of that. And the bullpup was where oh wow, way off on that. Where most of the action happens behind the trigger. It's where your magazine well and your firing action actually is pulled back behind the trigger, pulling the barrel back further into the weapon, which makes it a shorter weapon and more effective in close quarters. You can yank that thing around, especially when you have a foregrip on it. You can yank it from side to side, and it feels pretty nice. And you do not sacrifice barrel length, which is something nice about bullpups. So there we go, within close quarters, feels pretty good. Really fast rate of fire for something that is claiming to be a hybrid between the 7.62, 5.56. I don't have a lot of experience with it, so I'm trusting the developers of Arma 3 to have, you know, some type of knowledge on this round, to have experimented with some type of weapon on the range. And know what they're doing, but the Katiba close quarters is definitely looking pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this out here. Let me go ahead and grab a sight, and we're going to see how this thing performs in long range. Now I'm going to grab one of the most average sights that you'll see out there, which is the RCO, the Rifle Combat Optic. This thing's nice. It does have two options on it. You can go with the normal red dot, or you can switch to this longer sight, and we'll go ahead and talk about those numbers here in a minute. And what those mean when you're actually aiming downrange. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a couple shots here. Just get a feel for the weapon. You know, it's kind of like shooting basketball. Or playing basketball. You always want to be close to the rim when you first start out. Get a feel for the ball going inside the net. So get a feel for these targets going down. Pay attention to where your bullet's going. Look at that, we're still aiming pretty much center mass. Now when we start getting to targets like this, I'm probably going to put my reticle right on his head. That actually would have whizzed his shoulder there, so I need to be a little bit more careful with my aiming. This is where we're going to start holding our breath. And this is getting to about 400 meters out. So these are one hell of a shot in real life if you didn't have some good sights. Yeah, we popped that one. That was about 450 meters maybe. And the way I can tell is on here you see 4, 6, and 8. The 4 standing for 400 meters, the 6 standing for 600 meters, the 8 standing for 800. And beside those numbers, we see lines. Now, those lines have a purpose. They're actually supposed to go from shoulder to shoulder on your target. So if the silhouette of your target was facing toward you, that line would go from one side of their shoulder to the other side of their shoulder. And that's a good way to kind of judge the distance. Now, it's not always going to be a guarantee, but it's a way to kind of guesstimate if you don't otherwise know exactly how far they are. So this one is looking right at the extent of the reach, this target I'm facing right now, of the 6.5 millimeter Grendel round. And we're going to see if we can actually pop this thing in its first shot. Now, it's getting a little bit difficult to aim. This is where stamina is really going to come into play. You got to hold your breath and really choose your shot. So I'm going to line up right with the shoulder, take the shot, and down it goes. And look how long it took for that bullet to reach the target. So 800 meters is the effective maximum range of the 6.5 millimeter Grendel round. We're going to aim a little farther and see what we can do here. This is probably aiming around 850 meters. Again, one hell of a shot for this particular rifle and this particular scope. And nope, no shot. Couldn't even see any dust coming up. We're going to try it one more time. Holding the breath, holding the breath. That was a little to the left, but we still got the shot. So this weapon does have tremendous reach, if you ask me. If you're using the right sight and you're using these numbers to your advantage and choose your shot, just don't start popping out shots. Really take your time. I think you could use this for some really long-range engagements, much further than I originally thought, without knowing much about the caliber.